Hello, my friends, and welcome to a brand new episode of Discourse in Magic. My name is Jonah Babbins, and welcome. I wanted to do a special episode during these crazy times to talk about virtual magic shows. I took a little poll in the Discourse in Magic Facebook group about if I should have regular interviews coming out or if I should change some of the content of this podcast to reflect the situation and be more sympathetic to what's going on. And I got answers from both sides. So I decided that for the most part, regular interviews are going to come out. I wanted to stop and do some short episodes like this to talk about the way that the magic environment has changed under these times. And today I wanted to talk about virtual magic shows. Some people hate virtual magic shows. They hate the idea. They think it's ruining magic and so on. And some people love it and they're doing it and they're thriving doing virtual magic shows. Whatever you feel is totally okay, and do whatever works for you. If you don't want to do them, don't. If you don't even do regular shows, you don't want to do virtual shows, don't. If you think it's sacrilegious to magic, don't do it. But if you are doing it, I wanted to share some benefits, and I wanted to share some advice about virtual magic shows, because so far I've done about 15 or 16, myself and my business partner, Ben Train. We live together, we work together, we do shows together, and we've done about 15 or 16 shows, and we've learned a lot in the process. So in this short little episode, I wanted to give you 4 benefits of virtual magic, and I wanted to give you 3 tips for virtual magic. Let's talk about the benefits. Benefit number 1 is knowing people's names. If you're doing a Zoom magic show, then you can hover the mouse over the screen and you can see everybody's names right inside the box. So instead of in person where you have to say, "Excuse me, sir, what's your name?" "Bill." "Okay, Bill, thank you. Bill, can you come on stage?" And you have to wait for Bill to go on stage. Then you have to remember that his name is Bill. In a Zoom magic show, you just hover your mouse over the screen. You know what everyone's name is. So you say, "Daniel, can you unmute yourself and say the name of any card?" Or, "Greg, can you unmute yourself and say, is the ball in my hand or underneath the cup?" You could do something like that where you're able to interact with the person and you know everybody's name. Tip number 2 is eye contact. This is really interesting. In a regular magic show in a theater, you have to look all the way from the left, all the way to the right, everybody in the front, everyone in the back to connect with everyone. Maybe the people in the back of the theater don't feel like you've connected with them as much as the people in the front. In a virtual magic show, every single person is connected to equally. You're looking at the camera, you're looking directly at them, which makes it easier for you to, do your timing of when to look at the audience and when to look at the objects in your hand. But also, your angles become only one angle. So all of those interesting, let's call them Instagram effects, that we used to think were silly, are now potentially quite applicable to what you do because it's only one angle. Benefit number 3 is interaction becomes different. You can do a different type of interaction. You can tell people, "Hey, everyone bring a deck of cards. There's going to be a trick that's going to happen inside your hand. Everyone bring a bunch of coins. I'm going to do a trick that happens inside your hand. I'm going to teach you a trick. Bring some rubber bands." Many of you are close-up card magicians who've always wanted to perform on stage with a camera projecting what you do. Now you can do that quite literally. You can perform for hundreds of people. So the level of interaction changes. That's benefit number 3. And benefit number 4 is reactions. If you have 25 people in one private Zoom room and you do a trick and everyone's volume's on, you will hear everyone react all together. And it's not the same, but it kind of feels just like people are all reacting to an in-person magic trick. And I know I'm giving them joy and I'm getting some joy out of it myself too. Those are some benefits and maybe some reasons to give Zoom magic shows a shot. Now I want to give you some tips about your Zoom or virtual magic show. Tip number 1 is make it special. Don't just do the same magic show that you would be doing in person, but online. It's not going to work. You're not going to get the same kind of reactions and responses because it's virtual. Instead, design and discover and find tricks that are going to utilize and benefit from the medium. So find things that you can do that are interactive, work in their hand, that will work through the screen. Different things like that. Design a special show and you're going to stand out for having built a special experience. Number 2, pick a market. If you listen to this podcast for any amount of time, I say this over and over and over again for everything, and it's true again for virtual shows. If you just say, "Hey, anyone, I'm open for virtual magic shows," no one is going to be as interested as if you pick a specific market. If you do just virtual magic shows for kids' birthday parties, or just for schools, or just for companies, get hyper specific about who you do virtual magic shows for. That's really going to help you in your booking process and in your word of mouth. Tip number 3 is you probably have all the tools to get started. Yes, you can get a fancy camera. Yes, you can get fancy lights, but you don't need any of them. camera on your computer and the mic attached to your computer, that's good enough. If you don't like virtual magic shows, don't do it, no problem. If you do like them, but you haven't given it a shot, I hope you do give it a shot and have some fun and try. If you've been doing virtual magic shows, I'd love to hear how that's been going for you. And for everyone, I would love to hear, number one, how you are doing, how you are handling yourself during this time. Have things gotten crazy? Have they slowed down and you've gotten some alone time? Number two, have you done any virtual magic shows? That's what I want to know. And number three, come be a part of the Discourse in Magic Facebook group. We're having so much fun in there. And every Wednesday night, I'm doing something different. I've done talks where it's kind of like a lecture with favorite guests from the podcast. I've done Zoom magic jams, virtual magic jams with Discourse in Magic people. That was awesome. We talked about virtual magic tricks, which might benefit you if you're doing virtual magic shows. Come be a part of the Discourse in Magic Facebook group. You can click the link in this description or find it on Facebook. Thank you so much as always for being here. I hope you and your families are well. Also, I just want to mention that because we're living in these crazy times, you might find a way to make good use of this time, whether that means tackling a big project, whether that means working with someone who you might not have had the opportunity to work with. And for myself, I am like wildfire reaching out to magicians who would usually be too busy to sit down for an interview, but are suddenly not because they're not doing as many shows. So number one, look forward to some very exciting interviews. But number two, see how you can make best use of this time. Thanks so much for being here. Much love. I love you. See you soon. Stay Gucci. See you Thursday.